Now the faces of those he's wronged flash before his eyes.
Whoops, almost forgot something very important.
To pay homage to Gorto.
He'd better put the allowance money in his bank before he forgets.
Yeah, you wouldn't want that penny just sitting out.
But say, that's not very much money. And there are shows to go to. And that superatomic airplane to send for.
People to buy.
Well, there are so many things a boy likes to have money for.
Like play the numbers.
So, the Democrats have a good idea. That's not a joke. It's called the American Family Act, more commonly known as Brown-Bennett after the two senators who wrote it, Ohio darling Sherrod Brown and presidential meme Michael Bennet. The act would create a child allowance for the U.S. much like those already in Europe, providing every American parent $300 a month for every child under the age of 6 and $250 a month for each one between the ages of 6 and 16. The payments would phase out once your income passes $130,000 a year. This would single-handedly pull 4 million children out of poverty, dropping the child poverty rate from roughly 15% to just under 10%, and the number in deep poverty would nearly be cut in half. The best part? It seems like it would pass through a Democratic Congress with ease. However, let it never be said, the Democrats let the perfect be the enemy of the good. With a few key changes and tune-ups, this bill could be world-class. First off, let's look at how they plan to provide the payment. Their current plan extends the child tax credit, meaning most Americans won't even know they're benefiting from it, making the stipend easier to cut and harder to articulate to the average American. This also comes with the secondary problem of making what should be a monthly check another addition to a person's annual tax refund, further obscuring the benefit's existence. I will say that the bill does provide monthly payments to those with a negative tax liability, but only for that liability, meaning that as a family gains wealth, their check becomes smaller, resulting in the family feeling as though their benefits are being cut while making it difficult for them to budget for the future. If a family's monthly check drops by $50 after tax season, that's $50 out of the monthly budget. It doesn't matter if they get a lump sum of $600 with their refund. To solve this, we should scrap the tax credit and run it as a new Social Security program, letting the already experienced Social Security Administration distribute the checks much like they do with the Social Security old age pension and disability insurance, guaranteeing that every parent gets their check each month with a big stamp from the US Treasury on the front, making the payment, its origin, and its purpose clean and simple, and by proxy the program becomes much harder to roll back. Speaking of rolling back, the benefit cap should be removed. This is for one simple reason. Benefits which are not universal are easier to cut. Compare the longevity of Social Security to the beleaguered lifespan of food stamps. It also wouldn't significantly increase the price of the program either. There aren't that many people with individual incomes over $130,000 or jointly $180,000. Letting them participate means they will also hold less resentment towards the program and be unlikely to favor policies which cut it. Now, let's take a more in-depth look at the payments themselves. From the outside, they look good, but upon deeper inspection, some of the changes are a tad strange. Take age. Why do payments stop at 16? Almost universally across the board, the American system expects those under the age of 18 to be dependent on their parents. There's an argument to be made that since 16-year-olds can work, this should make up for the benefit in some way, but that ignores that many poorer families need children at home to take care of younger siblings, especially single-family homes. It also assumes that poverty comes from a lack of working family members to bring in income, when many may not have access to jobs to pay the necessary amount of cash to start with. And most importantly, the original version of the bill included 17 and 18-year-olds. So let's just add them back in. Speaking of age, why is the payment cut to 80% when the child turns 6? The best I can guess is that it's due to the assumption that children become less costly when they become older. But that's totally not the case. A study by the USDA back in 2015 found that no matter a family's household income, the costs of raising a child were essentially the same at all ages, with a small increase in the mid to late teens. This means we need to keep the payment consistent in order to not return families to poverty as their kids grow older. Let's also talk about the amount the Act pays out. If we use the higher 0 to 5 age range, the benefit pays out $3,600 a year. According to the USDA study I just quoted, the average annual child expenditure for a lower-income household was between $9,330 to $9,980 a year, or roughly $10,245 to $10,959 respectively in 2020 dollars. Almost 3 times as much as the stipend. However, this does include many costs which could better be handled by other programs. healthcare by Medicare for all, childcare and education via universal daycare and pre-K, saving for college with College for All, food by universal school meals, and housing via public housing programs and universal Section 8 vouchers. If we remove these expenses, we're left with an annual cost of, roughly $3,100 per year. Yeah, seriously. That basically makes the number Democrats have proposed essentially the perfect amount, as it fully covers low-income families and helps out many middle-income ones too. I wanted to bring this up to point out that the childcare stipend is one of many tools we must use to tackle child poverty, not the single-handed cure for it, as I fear it could be seen as. I plan to make videos on all those programs I glossed over earlier in later videos, and we're not done with childcare or Social Security either, but I felt this was a good intro to my type of policy. Simple, universal, and comprehensive. Now, before we wrap up, let's do a little TLDW. How to improve the American Families Act. 1. Turn it into a Social Security program. 2. Scrap the income cap. 3. Increase the maximum benefit age to 18. 4. Standardize the payment across the entire 0 to 18 age range. So with all that being said, if you liked the video, drop a like and a comment down below. It helps grow the channel. If you want to see more from me, feel free to click the subscribe button and the notification bell to be alerted when new content comes out. If you want to hear more from me outside of YouTube, I have a Twitter, @OneManThinkTan1, the Roman numeral, link down in the description, along with my sources I used to make this video. Otherwise, most importantly, as always, have a wonderful day.